Hey guys, before we start, just want to give a huge shout out to GoTime. With no missions or limits to worry about, GoTime Bank offers a 5% per annum interest rate. Hashtag it's GoTime for simple, sustainable, and secure savings. Hashtag simply 5 savings with GoTime. Download the GoTime Bank app to open an account today. Hey guys, welcome back to Small Talk, small conversations with huge impact. Now, not exclusively on Spotify because we are here available also on YouTube. So, YouTube people, if you are watching this, thank you so much for being here. I missed doing this intro and I missed speaking to you guys. So, thank you so much for being here. And as you can see, we have a one heck of a setup right now, and I'm just really excited for this episode because I know I say this a lot, but this is actually a very special episode because this is actually a full circle of what I have been doing online. I'm not alone. Okay, as you may have seen from the title, I'm with someone that I think medyo matagal na. Medyo matagal na kaming magkakilala nito, but kind of virtually. Dahil itong taong to, we were starting our YouTube channels before. And I remember a quick backstory. No, I remember nung time na nagsisimula ako, I was just trying things out. And I saw this person also trying things out. And then we were commenting on each other's videos kahit na yung niche niya iba, yung niche ko iba. I was appreciating her videos. She was appreciating my videos. So just really, really happy na after 5 years, I'm with this person. And I'm just very excited to welcome on the show Bea Chu. Bea, welcome to the show.
Hello, everybody. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Grabe, 5 years, man.
Yeah, and thank you so much for hosting us in this very special place. Uh, this is by far the best place na nakapag-record ako. So thank you for creating this space, alt space. Thank you so much for having us here. And I'm really excited kasi ang dami nating pag-uusapan. I mean, off the record, ang dami na off cam, ang dami na natin na pag-usapan, but I'm sure na mas marami pa tayong mapag-uusapan today. And so again, just thank you so much. And maybe for the people who are not aware of who you are, maybe kind of introduce yourself a little bit, like what do you do and how you got into this magical space.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. Thank you again for making your way down here and then enjoying this space with us. So, hi, everybody. My name is Bea Chu. I am a content creator. I create content around cinematography, audio, tech, and really diving deep into educating aspiring creators and the creator economy as a whole.
And naaalala ko lang, nung nagsisimula pa lang tayo, you were kind of testing things out with the creator economy, but hindi ka pa nag-content creation nun, di ba?
Yeah.
What was that moment for you na you decide na, oh, this can be something huge and I'm just gonna go for this?
Yeah, so alam ko nung nagkakilala tayo, it was still pre-pandemic, everything like YouTube. Talagang, I don't know how it happened, but it happened and I'm glad that it did. Like, we just randomly found each other and then it's like, yes, kaya mo yan. Okay, support. Hindi tayo magkakilala pero support.
Support.
Yun. And that was very on and off for me. It was still vlogging era.
Mhm.
And then the moment that it clicked for me was because I had such a hard time with being consistent and stuff. But it clicked for me when TikTok was kind of on the rise. And then pandemic na. I lost my excuse for not creating content. Because my excuse was, nah, I'm too busy with work. I can never be at home to create content. Eh wala na, pandemic na, everyone's at home. Tapos parang sabi ko, bakit hindi pa rin ako nakaka-create ng content? Ano ba yan? And then, eventually, I kept seeing videos online of my friends personally in the theater, na parang, they sing so well. Tapos, when they do covers, because that was still the cover era, 2020, right? Nakalaylay yung mic nila. Tapos parang, guys, your mic needs to be here so that people can actually understand you and appreciate your singing. And so, out of slight frustration, and I guess I was having a bad day that day. Just parang, I'm like, let's do this. I was like, I made that video, pero it was really directed at friends. Ito yung, this is it, do this. I used to do this. And then, I made that video. Tapos sabi ko, alam mo, cool yung ano. Kasi back then, di ba, when you download a video on TikTok, andun na yung parang watermark.
Yeah.
Tapos sabi ko, uy, cool yan. Gusto ko na nandun na yung watermark ko. So, I created a TikTok account specifically for that para lang makuha ko yung watermark. Tapos, in-upload ko doon, dinownload ko yung video, in-upload ko sa Facebook. It was like middle of the night, which is everything that you shouldn't be doing right now, di ba? And then, overnight, it just, tapos sabi ko, huh, okay, there's something here. And then yung mga nagko-comment is parang, oh, yan o, tinan mo on TikTok, hindi na lang puro dance, dance, ganyan. Sabi ko, oh, so people don't want the dancing as much as we think that they did back then. So people do appreciate this type of content. So people do find value from being educated. And that was like kind of the moment for me na parang, oo nga, what is stopping me from sharing what I already know, right? Because apparently, this is the thing that kind of hit me. I read it somewhere na parang, what is simple for you might not be simple for other people. What is very parang obvious for you is not obvious for everyone else. And that was obvious for me. Like, come on, like, guys, just like clip it here. And then, parang feeling ko kasi sobrang simple niya, it doesn't need to be talked about. But I didn't realize how much it helped many people na parang, yun, that's what changed for me.
Wow. So I really like how interesting it was for you na you just really wanted it to share it to your friends. Na yun lang talaga. Like, friends, like, fix your mic. Ito talaga yun. But also you mentioned na parang this is one like an obvious thing na people should know but hindi pala. And I really love that quote. But I guess when I also experienced na started teaching online, I think the biggest block for me was do more than that. Do I really need to talk about this? Is am I enough to teach about this? Were there days na you kind of felt even like right up to now na well, dapat ba ako yung nagtuturo nito or do you ever experience
Yeah,
things
dude,
that?
like imposter syndrome is a big friend that you don't, alam mo yung friend na parang, friend, pero ayaw mo siyang maging friend kasi every time you hang out with them, it's just like, you question your life, parang ganon. Yeah, I go through
And
that.
how do you deal with that?
I will have to be super transparent that I'm still dealing with it.
Uh-huh.
But one of the things that really worked was to cut the thought and just do it. Kasi eto rin eh, parang I wish I knew this earlier. But this is something that came out of me teaching and giving advice to students that I taught because I teach online as well. Ito yung perfect example na parang you still learn as you teach. So when I taught na I had a student who said na, oh, I want to put this out, but I'm so scared that it's gonna turn out really bad, and who am I to talk about this? And I said, one of the things that I realized, which I didn't even realize up until the point that I mentioned it, is there's only two ways that the outcome of something, right? If you're scared of putting out content or doing whatever it is that you want to do because you're scared that you're not in the right position to do it, or it's not gonna do well, or you're gonna embarrass yourself, the beauty of social media is if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. Nobody sees it. Right? So, yung takot mo is wala. Kasi, okay, you put out content, tapos totoo yung takot mo na, okay, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing, and it's so embarrassing, and people see it. Well, if in the first place, it's not a good piece of content, or it's not effective, it's
No
not
one's
gonna
gonna
do
see it.
well.
No
No
one's
one's
gonna
gonna see
see
it.
it.
So you get to do it again, and then do it again and again until you get it right. And through that process of you doing it over and over again, you get a little bit more knowledge. And one of the things that really worked for me was, I don't know how it happened, but it happened, which contributed to my growth, which is great. But the biggest thing I got from that is there was 10 days that I I posted content as much as possible. Parang sabi ko na lang sa sarili ko is just make one today, make one tomorrow, and then make one again the day after that. And then if you miss a day, that's fine. Do it again. Just try to do it. And I managed to put out 10 pieces of content over like a couple, like 2, 3 weeks yata. Um, and the consolation is my Instagram grew and so did everything else. But the biggest thing I got out of that is kaya naman pala eh. Because dati, daily vlog was such a big thing, right?
Yeah. Everyone was also trying to do it. And I think a big factor of that na more and more creators who tried to be creators kind of got burnt out na as early as just in the first couple of videos. And I think that was a cycle for me as well. Na okay, you try and then there's this pressure na you just got to lalo na pag nakita mo yung mga magagaling na and marami na parang okay, kailangan ganito yung video, kailangan ganyan. But it led to a point na parang ayoko na rin palang gawin. That's why kahit ngayon I'm still like trying to grow my audience on YouTube because of that as well. Yeah. But yung I think the also the underlying kind of issue with people who are trying to start yun nga yung burnout
Yeah.
na ano. And I think more than the burnout in the creative space na wala kang idea, it's just that the task of becoming creative is really parang counterproductive. Parang sobrang hirap na pag pinipilit mo yung sarili mo maging creative. 'Di ba? But how do you deal with that? If you ever do you have like a story na na parang the more that you try, the more na nagiging hindi siya effective?
Yeah. Yeah, as in like, oh man, I have one. Solid. There's this idea I had, which was, kasi I teach, and so I encounter a lot of students who are beginners, and then I'd have to grade their videos. And through that process, mananarrow mo yung, okay, ito yung common mistakes na ginagawa ninyo paulit-ulit. And I wanted to make a video. And the feeling behind that intention was pretty much the same as the feeling behind the first video I made. Na parang, I just want to make this video so that I don't need to keep telling you, but then you learn from it. Parang anytime na, okay, you know what, guys, great video, you can do better. Watch this to learn more on how to correct the mistakes that you have. Para I don't have to keep saying it. But I knew it was a good idea, and I just didn't know how to package it. And then I was like, yeah, it's so frustrating kasi if it doesn't do well, sayang. Yun eh, parang if it doesn't do well, sayang. So you know what? I'll sit on it until I get a good idea on how to do it. Until I sat on it for months. Months talaga. I didn't make it because I thought it had to be perfect. Otherwise, sayang yung ginawa ko kasi people are not gonna see it. And then I had that session with a student. And then I gave that advice. And then I ended the session and I sat. And then I reflected na parang, how big of a hypocrite would I be if I didn't follow the advice that I just gave my student? And so that night, I really didn't want to make the video because I had no plan. I had zero plan. And then I said, bahala na. Kasi I have to believe that what I told my student is something that I personally believe in. So if I say na, just make it. Kasi what do you have to lose? If people don't see it, then do it again. Sabi ko, okay, sige, fine, I'll just do it. And then if it doesn't do well, then it's fine. I can do it again. And I did it. And I did it in a way na I did not set up the lights. I used my camera and I said, I'm not even gonna think and overthink the angles. I'm just gonna, I want to eat chocolate because I feel really crappy right now about forcing myself to do this. But I know I just need to do it. So I sat down, I opened that, I filmed, and then I was just eating chocolate. And I wasn't even thinking about, okay, kailangan retention, kailangan yung hook right away, ganyan. I didn't even, wala.
Like structure,
Oo,
kailangan.
kailangan walang pause, kailangan ganyan. Wala, I just like, this is for me. I need this chocolate to get through this video. And you will wait for me to bite and give you the details. So I did. I did that, and then I changed the angle for my next point. And then I edited it, I uploaded it, and then, boom, it went viral.
Minsan, yun pa yung ano, yung the most surprising videos that would get a lot of views are those who were not really, hindi masyadong sa utak. Parang hindi masyadong, I mean, pinag-isipan kahit papaano. But like the essence, for me, the essence is more important than the form. Like, you can perfect all the technical stuff, but if you don't really understand where you're coming from and you're not really speaking from your heart in terms of the content that you want to share out there, like people would feel the disconnect and it's not gonna perform well, right? Curious lang ako, you mentioned earlier na like after like studying these students, you saw like the most common mistakes of a creator. And I know there's a lot of people out there because we were talking about this earlier. Nandito na tayo sa space ngayon na we're like telling people, create content, go build your personal brand on. Like this is such an integral part of who we are na we also share it to the people na nakakasama natin. Like alam yan ng mga nakakasama ko, especially pag face to face, na if you're watching this, like post videos, okay? Kasi what's the worst thing that could happen? Hindi mo, like the risk is so low but the potential is so big. That's why yung mga tao nakakasama ko, I'm telling them like post content. But you're really studying a lot of aspiring creators, starting creators, and you are kind of seeing the patterns na rin, kung ano yung mga mistakes nila. What do you think is the most common mistake of creators out there?
The most common mistake is they do too much. So what I mean by they do too much is they overthink it, and then they're like, okay, structure again. I make it, and then they make the video, and then they film it, and then they're like, oh, I need to have more. So they put in a lot of transitions. A lot of transitions that don't help the video because they think na okay, kailangan mag-transition to this or and stuff. Tapos parang yung comment ko lagi is only put in these elements if it serves the purpose of the video. Because essentially, if your message is good, if what you are talking about in the video is good, you won't need any of these. That is like the biggest thing talaga na parang hindi mo kailangan ng fancy anything. Tapos, kailangan you have to really find the meat and the intention behind what it is you want to tell people. It's great that you follow trends and you look and study these. Sure, if you keep doing that, you'll eventually end up finding what it is that works for you. But if your sole purpose is, I need to do this, I need to copy this because it drives the numbers, you will easily lose yourself and you'll easily burn out. So that's one of like the biggest mistakes talaga na nakikita ko lagi.
They do too much.
Yeah.
Crazy. Naalala ko meron akong parang isang nakakasama lang siya tapos and then may parang inattendan siyang course, something like that. And then tinuruan lahat ng editing styles and techniques, ganyan. Tapos ginawa niya is nilagay niya lahat dun sa isang video. Like yung first minute pa lang, sobrang dami ng too much talaga. Tapos parang sabi ko na, nope, it's not clicking. So parang just use what you need. You don't need to use everything.
Yeah.
And that's just a really good advice. And you also mentioned na, by the end na that's also why a lot of people feel burnout. And I think something that I really wanted to talk to you about is the mental health of you putting yourself out there, being in the creative space, also trying to look at it as a business and whatnot. Pero yung how, like, what's the reality um of the mental health side when you're trying to create content?
This one's a little bit heavier. But the reality is, social media has made it super easy for you to put yourself out there and show your best work, right? And it rewards you fast. And the double edged sword, that social media is that the flip side, it's inevitable, especially when you haven't equipped yourself well in your growth personally, is that inevitably you will associate your self worth to the numbers and how it validates you and your work. Kasi you put so much of yourself into your work na when it goes well, yung feeling mo is parang, yes, people like my stuff, I must be wonderful. I must be doing something right. But on the flip side, that's great. That's great to boost your confidence. That's great to bring you up and then to give you the validation. But on the flip side, once it doesn't do well, which is usually the trend that we see, di ba? On social media, it's never just gonna go high. It's always up and down, up and down, up and down. And you have to be, as much as you enjoy the highs, you have to be prepared for the lows. And when you're not prepared enough, and this is what we see so much in creators, especially when you're starting out. Ako, myself, right? Mafe-feel mo na parang, hala, hindi ba ako enough? Hindi ba worth it yung content ko? Bakit hindi siya nagwo-work? And also, it translates to the business side. When you start pricing yourself, when you start trying to put yourself out there to work with brands, and you put a number on your worth, that's when it's detrimental. And a number in terms of views, a number in terms of engagement, a number in terms of value, monetary value. Because you take the highs great, like,
Yeah.
yes, it worked, it's viral, people like me. And then when you lean in on that too much, you risk feeling the biggest blow when it doesn't do well. And so the biggest thing talaga na I learned from that is, yes, enjoy the highs, but don't lean into it so much that you put your worth into it. Because at the end of the day, it's work, right? Your work is it's just a 9 to 5 job as well. You enjoy it better than probably. I mean, like, hey, there are people out there who is in a 9 to 5 job and they enjoy it. It is their life's purpose and it's absolutely fantastic. And sometimes there are people like us, like ako, I can't do a 9 to 5. I just can't.
Yeah.
But if you cannot separate yourself, that is like the biggest blow. And I had to learn that in like the hardest way. But I'm glad na through that, I kind of emerged na, okay, yeah, we have to set boundaries. You have to learn how to say no. You are not, your work is not directly associated to your worth as a human being. You have to know when to turn it off. Na, okay, step back. Great, you're doing content. Great, you're enjoying that. Step back and then be a human. Yan.
Was there a time na, like, even when you got the highs and everyone's like appreciating, was there a time na you felt na you wanted to quit?
Yes, there was. Because along with the highs, it's like you're battling yourself. You're always trying to find, how can you one up yourself? You put out this viral content, you're thinking about, my next one needs to be better. How can I top this so that it can be viral as well? And sobrang dangerous ng thought na yun. It's like a drug. It's really that eh. The way that social media is made is so that you get so much like dopamine hits and you like it so much that you stay as a consumer. But then as a creator, it's also equally addicting. You get the numbers and you're like, yeah, I want more. when's my next hit? How do I get that? How do I top that to do that again? And that's when it breaks you because you keep thinking na parang wala na eh, ito na yung limit ng kaya ko ngayon eh. So hindi siya sustainable. Diba? Parang yeah, many times I wanted to quit.
And how did you like manage to pull yourself out of that and say, na, you know what, I'm gonna keep on creating. I'm still put myself out there.
The biggest factor, the people around you,
Mm.
the support system. Dude, I realized talaga when we were starting out, this whole thing, and we were already like in the middle of it. We weren't even like the pioneers or anything, diba? But we were already in the middle of it. There was vlogging and everything. Pero even then, the support was, yeah, kaya mo yan. Pero when you come to them and then you talk to them na parang, oh, it didn't do well. Parang, ba naman yan? It's just numbers again. Just make another one. And then you're like, no, you don't understand the toll it takes on you to create, the toll it takes on you to think of things and do it from 0 to 100, and then the toll it takes on you to hit that publish button over and over. Nobody understands that better than another creator. And when I really stepped, kasi, okay, introvert, I don't really, I'm not, I cannot, with people. But that's the thing about with introverts, when you find the right people, you're like nonstop talk and then you just kind of like connect.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to get out of the comfort zone of connecting with other people, especially online. But if there's anything that I think na maganda that came out of the pandemic was that you were forced to normalize talking to people online. And so, you're online na rin naman and you're meeting people online. Parang hindi na siya ganun ka-scary, hindi na siya stranger danger. And so when I started to be more open to reaching out to other creators, and then I found a community, I found friends like you guys, right?
Yeah.
And then we get to share our struggles. It was more manageable.
I love that na you mentioned like we're sharing our struggles because I think yung perception ng mga tao na when you're finding your circle, like everyone's just giving out the best ideas, but most of the time it's just your circle's just ranting out their own
Yeah, that's true.
struggles na I think 55% is all about what's not working, like
Yeah.
parant lang, because I think that space is very important na people are just holding space to let you humanize yourself
Yeah.
versus sa kung ano lang yung nakikita ng mga tao online,
Yeah.
right? And I love it na the highlight of having a space and a community that really supports you. But what's like if you're gonna advise people na okay, you gotta look for a support system or a community or a mastermind or whatever, like what do they need to look for in a sense, like ano yung na-appreciate mo sa mga friends mo ganyan that allowed you to parang get back up and keep going?
Great question. Kasi it can be very tricky. Because I feel like hindi naman sa sinasadya ng mga people, pero there are people out there who are, they're very, okay, eto yung mindset ko, fast track tayo, go, 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 go. But then there are also people who are like, yeah, no, we have like this other life and we have to do this and stuff. And I'm not saying one is right and one is wrong, but it's essential to find a group wherein you are relatively in the same pace. But then also, it's a mix of people ahead and people who are behind. And that's very important kasi parang, if you are in a group wherein you are ahead, then you will inevitably feel like you're not growing because you're helping all these people who are not ahead of you. But if you are in the middle of a group wherein there are people ahead, there are people behind, you will feel your growth because you're learning, but at the same time, you're also fueling your, yung fulfillment mo of being able to help those who are behind para sabay-sabay kayong nag-grow. And so in terms of looking for that, it's really being able to test the waters na yeah, strike up a conversation, show your support. And feeling ko, naniniwala ako na mafe-feel mo yun from a person if they are sincere, that they want to, be friends and they want to be in a collaborative space with you, or they're just into like the niceties na parang, hey, yeah, love your work. Great, good job. Yeah, keep going.
Parang it's like just the vibe.
Yeah.
No? Like, I'm a huge fan of like the vibrations and stuff, but like yung mga tao sasabi na, oh, ka-vibe ko yan. Parang you are on the same vibration, but kahit parang kakamit mo pa lang, ay, hindi ko siya ka-vibe, something like that, na parang you're operating on different vibrations as well. So, if ikaw, parang kahit hindi, alam mo na hindi lang to niceties, ganyan, but also, you just vibe with that person,
Yeah.
parang malalaman mo talaga
Yeah,
di ba?
yeah.
I love that, no, and I hope na people watching this like really gets to understand na you don't need to do it alone.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Sobrang you don't need to do it alone. And you don't need to force yourself to do it at the pace of other people.
Yeah.
Especially the ones that you see. Ito, yung one thing din that talagang that hit me was I used to think na parang, oh, kaya naman ni Peter McKinnon, oh, 2 videos, 3 videos in a week, kaya naman niya eh.
Yeah.
So dapat kayanin ko din. Or Casey Neistat, every single day, a daily vlog. Will Dasovich, every single day. Kaya niya, dapat kaya ko rin. And that was what broke me. Kasi that's not true. And then you think na parang, oh, bakit kaya niya tapos hindi ko kaya? Maybe I'm not good enough. Doon na yung train of thought mo eh. But it changed for me kasi parang sabi ko, oo nga, wait lang. Hindi sila si Bea True eh. Hindi sila yung, okay, you have a family and, maybe they get to live alone. Maybe you don't get to live alone. Maybe you get to live alone. They don't get to live alone. You have different priorities, different responsibilities, different things that you don't even see on cam that play a big factor in your daily life.
Yeah.
And when you compare yourself to who they are at their best, you're inevitably going to lose. And so when that clicked for me, na parang sabi ko, okay, fine. I still have days. I still have days na parang, di, kaya ko to kasi kinaya nila. It's just really a daily battle na, no, you have to be kind to yourself. Na it's okay. You are not running out of time. You don't need to do it as fast as they can. You just need to do it your way.
Yeah.
And if you don't know how to do it yet, then you can just try until you figure it out.
Wow. Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. If you're liking this video, I hope that you give it a thumbs up. We're still gonna have a lot of things to talk about, but we're gonna go for a short break. And if you like what we're talking about, make sure that you check out the description box below so that you can learn to connect with the things that we're doing. But we'll be back in a few seconds. We're just gonna go for a short break. Peace. Hey guys, do you know that you're one decision away from a totally different life? And that's something that I have brought with me ever since I started into personal development. And I'm just super excited to share with you a project that I have been working on. Every single lesson that I use so that I could get to my next level, I put it all here. And for those who are not aware, my book, Your Best Year Ever, is now out on Shopee. You can get it out and all the other platforms out there. But if you haven't checked this out, I put here all the lessons that I have learned and also used in my personal development journey, from increasing your awareness, making better decisions, and of course, getting the right values so you can live your best year ever. Again, you can check this out by going to bit.ly/shopybye. Again, that's bit.ly/YBYE. And don't miss this chance. This is only available for a limited copies. So please check it out and let me know what your thoughts on this is. And welcome back. We're still here with Bea Chu, and we're just having a great conversation about what it actually means to be a creator and put yourself online. And I think one of the things that I'm really interested in is that you have a brand that you you were already kind of that brand nung nagsisimula ka pa lang. But right now, naalala ko lang na even before na hindi pa ganun karami yung mga nanonood, ganun na talaga yung vibe mo, ganun na yung style mo. I mean, you got better, of course, but that was already your vibe. But I also know na maraming tao na nanonood na they're kind of lost of ano bang, how do I know, like, quote unquote, who I am in a sense na, and how do I put that online? So, what are your tips for people na kind of, it's both a creative question and also like a life question. Like,
Yeah.
how do you kind of figure out na this is me and this is like my pag you parang yung mga tao lang na nagkakaroon ng crisis. Like, how do you like learn more about like what brand you want to put out there?
Yeah. So, um, wow, grabe. That's a lot to unpack. But let's see if I can do it like in three points. So the 3 points would be on, let's tackle like the creative side first, right? One of the things talaga that really helped me was I took a course, and talagang may crisis pa rin na parang I don't know what kind of content I want to put out there. Kasi whatever content you put out there is gonna dictate what brand people know you as, right? And the thing that helped me with that is to narrow down, to really define three things that I want my brand to be associated with. And so that was also parang the thing that was going to dictate my content plan and so on and so forth. So three buckets. And I always talk about this kasi when you're starting out, mahirap na wala kang niche kasi hindi mo alam kung ano yung direction mo. So parang I took a class and it was eye-opening for me because finally I felt like, okay, at least meron akong path. I don't know if it's the right one, but at least meron akong path. I know where to go now. And the way that I get to that three is I list down all of the things that I like and I associate with, be it something as simple as dogs, I love dogs, or food. And then something more detailed na, okay, cinematography, audio, tech, travel. And then I list all of that. Can even be something like I like steak. Diba? Something more definitive. Pero I list all that, 20, 50, and then I narrow it down to 10. And then I narrow it down to 3. Tigta tatlo. So parang, is it cinematography, travel, and dogs? Is it audio, tech, and food? Basta 3. And then syempre you also, it forces you kasi to, okay, these are the things that I like, but do these 3 work? And the reason why it's 3 is because it's easier to stand out with 3 rather than 2. Like, gaano karaming creators ang alam mo who are into the cinematography and tech, cinematography and audio. Mas konti yung gumagalaw sa loob ng cinematography, audio, and tech. Pero, maano pa rin siya. It's still big enough for you to be and capture an audience. But then it's easier for you to stand out in a sense na, okay, cinematography, anong element of cinematography? Audio, maybe the topic is audio. And then, pasukan natin ng tech para meron tayong extra seasoning. So, okay, taking all of those 3, what are the content that I can come up with? And then eventually, as you create more content on that, yun yung magiging branding mo. So that's for the first part of it, which is to find your USP, right? Your unique selling point. Or,
Okay.
ganon. On the life side of the crisis, of you don't know what you like. And this is something, again, I wish I figured out a long time ago. But I'm glad that I know now. is that you should put yourself out there, especially when you're young, because that is the moment that you get to do so much with little risks, because you can always bounce back when you're young. And you always have support from your family, support from your, even though they don't support you in a sense na they agree with what you're doing, at the very least, if you end up in bad stuff or like in deep, merong sasalo sa'yo,
Okay.
and your family's gonna be there, right? Or at least your friends. And the reason why it's important to go and put yourself out there and to try as many different things as possible is because that is the only sure way that you will figure out the things that you like and the things that you don't like. I 100% wish I tried so much things when I was younger. But it's, again, never too late to try and put yourself out there. So that is the single best way that I can say that you can figure out who you are, is to just do more and not be afraid of failing. Easier said than done.
Of course.
But yeah.
Everything is easier said than done. But I love that idea of, just put yourself out there. Like, paano mo malalaman na ang paborito mo pala ay, pineapples on pizza if you haven't tried it? Like, no judgment, but kung yun ang trip mo, di ba? Paano mo malaman kung hindi mo siya matatry? But, like, I'm curious. Like, what do you think is stopping people from going out there and just trying things out?
Always failure. Always that. In some shape or form, it's always going, parang it always leads back to failure. It's if I fail, if it doesn't work out, it's usually that, diba? The reason why I don't want to do it is because I might embarrass myself. It might not work out. I will feel bad. I will make a mistake. It's always those negative ideas na I'm going to make a mistake. I'm gonna F it up. And that's usually what stops you. Because you don't wanna make a mistake. You don't want to try and put yourself out there only to embarrass yourself. And this is something that I stumbled upon recently. It's like it's an audio that was going around sa Instagram that people were using, and then they were just doing and showing their artworks and stuff. I can't say it word for word, but I think it was an excerpt from a talk. And he was talking about how creativity is the single most effective way to kill creativity is to be afraid of failing. Because the point of creativity is to it's not good, it's not bad, it just is. It's trying things no matter how it's going to turn out. That's the best way to be creative. Kasi the point of that is to try this. Okay, if you're gonna paint, will red do well with this color? Will blue do well with this color? That is the essence of creativity and creating. And when you start inserting your thoughts, like negative thoughts na, if I do this, then it might look like, or I don't like this. Kasi what if I make this stroke and it's going to ruin the entire thing? Your anxiety, it's just gonna get in the way of you creating. There is no, parang, it's super simple lang eh. It's just a switch. Parang either you create or you don't. It's not, okay, I create with fear, whatever. No, it's either you put yourself out there and don't think about the consequences and actually create something and be proud of it, whether it turns out great or not. Or you're afraid to just make a move. Parang ganun siya eh. Okay, definitely the audio is much better in explaining it than I am, but I tried.
So parang namamatay yung creativity. When you stop failing, the creativity dies as well. Ang ganda lang nung parang like that mindset shift na in doing creative stuff, you will eventually fail. Like that's something, and even not in the creative. I mean, actually, it's part of it. Na when you're going out there and you're trying new stuff, even if you don't see it as a creative pursuit, when you're going out there, you're doing meaningful work, you're creating a better life for yourself, and eventually, you're gonna fail. Babagsak at babagsak ka talaga. And I just love that na, oo nga, no, na the moments that I wasn't scared to fail were the moments that I was most creative. 'Di ba? Yung mga times na hindi ko iniisip kung ano yung sasabihin ng ibang tao, if I'm gonna embarrass myself, dun ko rin mas na-express kung sino ako. And surprisingly, yun din yung mas magagandang mga content na ginagawa ko. 'Di ba?
Right? Yun din yung, actually, yung gusto ko i-share kasi diba kanina we talked about yung two pieces of content na both same feeling na nung ginawa ko na parang, I don't wanna do this, pero I was so scared of doing it, but I did it anyway. After I did that and after it went well, I was telling Nicole, yung manager ko, sabi ko, alam mo, feeling ko talaga, ito na yung, talagang sinasampal ako ng world. Na paulit-ulit na parang sinasabi sa akin ng mundo na, stop getting in the way. Stop getting in your own way. Parang get out of your way so you can actually succeed. You're the only one who's getting in your own way. Parang yun siya eh. Tapos, nung ginawa ko yung video na yun, parang talagang feeling ko sinampal ako ng world na parang, see? Everything that you were afraid of, you did it and it still worked. And every time that I'm afraid, like, we have that YouTube mastermind thing happening, right?
Okay. Yeah.
We have that, and I still have that big roadblock ahead of me na parang, I don't know what to do. Like, hala, andun pa rin yung overthinking eh. But every time I sink into that, I think about the time that I made it. Like, I just made it. Despite my fears, despite not having a plan, like a solid, flushed out plan, and just doing it based on my own instinct and trusting. That's the thing eh. Trusting my instinct, it worked eh. So every time I'm scared, I try to look back at that, and then I'm like reminding myself na, see, sinampal ka ng world twice na. What is your excuse? Parang gano'n. So parang, grabe.
Ang ganda I think I can totally resonate with when you start, and even if you go back, balikan mo yung mga moments na pinaka nag-grow ka. Yun yung pinaka masasaklap na moments ng buhay mo. And also, yun yung pinaka nakakatakot na mga moments ng buhay mo. Right? Like I always talk about like how growth is on the other side of fear. Like it's something so real na if hindi naman life-threatening yung gagawin mo. Right? Kung hindi naman immoral yan, wala ka namang inaapakan tao. But it's scary. You must still do it because you'll thank yourself later. And I think, ang ganda lang nung sinabi mo na, ang ginagawa ko, lagi lang ako merong anchor na this moment right here is the definition of what it means to be going out of your comfort zone or going into the growth zone. And I have that moment with me na every time na natatakot din ako, parang, naalala mo yon? Remember that moment? That's the same with this one, right? So for me, fear is like something that directs you as well eh. Na instead of fear saying na, parang akala ko pag natatakot ka, it's like a stop sign.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yes.
It's a yellow sign.
Yeah.
It's proceed with caution, but you can still, most of the time it's also like take the time or like go for it. Kasi it's like the straightest path to growth eh. Pag natatakot ka talaga. And grabe lang, ang dami nating napag-usapan. I'm just very, very happy for this as well. And na-mention mo kanina na you are nabanggit mo naman na we have this mastermind.
Yeah.
And I think that's also one of the powers of having an accountability group.
Yeah.
Of just people having that kind of support na, we go out there and we support each other. We share. Yung group chat natin parang, nag-overthink ako today. Diba? Ganun yung mga pinag-uusapan natin. And I'm just very, very excited. But I want to know, like, you're here and you're creating more content. What's the YouTube gonna be about?
The YouTube is, and this is going against not my instinct, because my instinct is telling me to do this, but then it's going against my preconceived like thoughts about approaching YouTube. But wala eh, parang you can prepare, but you can only prepare so much. And so this is going to be just diving into it. And I like what you said off cam kanina na parang, I mean, we've tried this so many times, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's high time we try something else.
Uh-huh.
And so this time around, it's going to be, just mixing and matching with being raw,
Yeah.
vulnerable. Na hey, this is life, and this is where life's taking me now.
Mm-hmm.
And then also including videos, syempre, on building, really doubling down on creator education
Yeah.
in many different ways, because that is one of the things that I really believe in, is that there is a lack of um, accessible information for creators here, at least here in the Philippines. Na parang when you watch it, you're like, oh yeah, kaya ko din. Kasi when you watch it from somebody else in a different country, you're like, yeah, but you're first world. Di ba? Parang, mabilis ng excuse na, hindi, kasi wala ka dito sa Pilipinas.
Mm.
But yun din yung what I really want to double down on 2024 is I want to be somebody who creates content that inspires and teaches, but not just inspire, but also gives you the tools na, hey, this is how I did it and I'm still figuring it out, but you can follow along
Yeah.
and you can learn from it.
Mm-hmm.
You can take from it, and whatever you see fit for you, steal it, get it, use it. Ganun siya. But then also having one-offs for me. So really leaning in the notion of one for you, one for them.
Yeah, I love that. I have this podcast as well. I'm gonna put this on YouTube. It's really for the people who are asking for it. Thank you guys, by the way, for always messaging me. Now, when's the next podcast? So here you are, watching this. Hopefully, nandito pa kayo. And ang saya lang na ganyan din ang approach ko eh. Na parang I'm gonna do this for you, but also I have like another series which is the vlogs and maybe some other stuff coming up very soon. I'm also very excited to share that. But before we kind of close this, so something that I really got inspired today, and I really want to share this because you can see it. No, visually you can see it. Like this space is amazing, and I'm really inspired by this. And maybe I just really wanted to get to like know a little bit more about what this space is all about. You have been posting it on your Instagram, and you have a lot of events. But maybe can you share a little bit about what this, whatever this is?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
And thank you for bringing that up. So Outspace is pretty much one of our babies. It's a space that Nico, Gaitha, and Nicole and I really wanted to bring to life, because we believed so much in the idea of building a safe haven for creators, no matter how much you know and how far along in your journey, or how much you're, I guess, like starting or which part of the creator journey you're on, whether you're beginning or whether you're already a seasoned creator. We want it to be a place wherein you can come here, you can draw inspiration, you can learn and collaborate with other creators as well, and really build a community off of this. And yeah, we kind of patterned it according to that. And because we're creators, we filled it with stuff that we would want in a space that that I believe a lot of creators also want. Diba? You come here and because there are many studios out there. But then sometimes you go to them and you're like, "Oh, this is great. Wow, these are nice stuff." But then it just doesn't hit that place that you want for yourself, you know? And so really creating Outspace was all of our visions combined na okay, this is a place na gusto ko pag pumunta ako dito. Yeah, on a technical side, I can sit down and start filming. Wala kang ibang iisipin. Walang distractions, walang, okay, kailangan na maghugas ng pinggan and stuff. Walang ganon. You sit here and everything is just free-flowing creativity. That's one part. And also really have a space talaga na our friends can come. Like you guys, right? Kaya we keep saying to our friends na, oh, hey, we're doing this Thursdays, come over. It's essentially collaborative or like collab Thursdays. You know, come over and let's just see what we can create. And then we can be there for each other. We can help each other. Hindi ka pa marunong mag-film? Don't worry, we got you. And then all of that, but also, syempre, being able to fill it with stuff like as a kid, diba? Parang you're like, yeah, I like this new gear. We have it now.
Yeah.
And then turning it into a business then so that it can support itself and the community that we can grow out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know that this is still like a fresh space, and thank you so much, by the way, for creating this space. Na people can just go here and collaborate, learn from each other. If you're a creative, and this is located where?
So this is located in 154 Maginhawa Street, Sikatuna Village, Quezon City. Okay, I'm navigationally and geographically challenged, so that is a win that I memorized the address. But here it's in Maginhawa
Yeah.
in QC.
Yeah, and you guys can check out their Instagram and their Facebook as well. It's in the description box below. And there's so many cool stuff here. I promise you that if you go here, you're gonna geek out. Now, whether you're a starting creator or a seasoned creator, it's just amazing stuff. So thank you so much for just creating this, and hopefully, I also like get to see like how much this grows, because we were talking about this off cam din na parang
Yep.
ang laki ng mga pwedeng mangyari dito, and so just
Yeah.
really excited for you. But you're also still going to be continuing to post online.
Yes.
And for all the people out there who wants to learn more about the things that you do, go ahead. If you have any upcoming projects, please share it with them, because of course, by the way, guys, kung merong isang tao talaga na ako personally tatanungin ko about creative stuff, si Bea Chu yun. So go ahead, please share them. Where can they learn more about the things that you do online?
Yeah, thank you for that. So ayan, here at Outspace, we also, I just wanted to say, we put up workshops. We try to do it every month for the creatives out
Yep.
there, aspiring creators or kahit seasoned creator ka. I believe that there's a lot that can be learned from the workshops that we put up. So we have workshops, we have events here, but then also online, you can find me at Beatrue TV, pretty much all of the platforms. And yun, a lot of the stuff that I'll be putting out there is really educational stuff, basics, but then also intermediate stuff that you cannot find, or it's hard to find.
Yeah.
You know, especially like yung pricing yourself, working with brands, where do you start, and all that stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, and I'm very excited because we're also going to work on a lot of future educational stuff for you guys, like courses and more
Oh,
events.
yeah.
So that's something that you guys need to look out for. So please go ahead and check out Bea. And of course, if you're on YouTube, please supportahan nyo kami sa YouTube.
Please,
Kasi-
please, yes.
yeah, we're really
We're
growing.
trying.
We're trying. Yeah, go ahead.
Yun pala, I almost forgot. We have an upcoming workshop. So, if ever, we have an upcoming workshop on November 19 with Nico Valenzuela. It's about everything in content creation. So, being a creator and starting. And then also on November 26, we have another workshop. if you want to fix your audio, how to sound better, and be understood by the people that you want to reach, we have a workshop on that. It's called Sounds Good. Sounds good.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and of course, maybe I just want to close this with uh, your like final piece of advice for people who wants to be out there, who wants to get into this content creation, whether they're like business people, entrepreneurs, even students. What's the number one piece of advice that you wanna give to our audience?
Funny enough, the thing that keeps popping in my head right now is the message that you sent in our group chat. Fail forward. As in, those two words already, it also encompasses a lot of the things that we talked about today. But it's so powerful when you really sit on it. Fail forward. And that means even though you're scared of failing, try it. Because every single failure or every single thing that you put out there, whether it's going to succeed or it's going to fail, is going to move you forward as long as you actually do something. So do something and then fail forward.
Wow, thank you so much, Bea, for sharing that. That was amazing, and thank you guys for staying with us up until the end. If you like this one, go ahead and share it on all of your social media platforms. Don't forget to tag us at Alec Cuenca and of course at Bea Chu on all different platforms. And thank you so much. Also, please, if you're on YouTube, give this a like. If you like more of this, please give that subscribe button also a hit. And also, please share your comments on this. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. So maraming salamat. Maraming salamat. I'm
Thank you
super
so much.
excited that this was the first episode back on Small Talk. Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone who's watching. Again, my name is Alec Cuenca. This is Small Talk, small conversations with huge impact. And I'll see you guys next episode. Peace.